Numbers don't lie.
They don't lie generally. Well, listen.
With AI, we can change.
I say that saying I trust no numbers from the government. I'm just saying, but so take my comments with a grain of salt. Don't hate me, Andrew. Please, I appreciate you being here, brother.
All right, there we go. So I have yet to try this out. My plan was to actually visit a location that had one of these.
You better hurry up.
I know. Now I really have to hurry up. They were closed the last time I was trying to get to it, but Bitcoin Depot, which is the largest ATM for Bitcoin in North America. It's North America, so it's United States, Canada, not Mexico that I believe, but Australia is also another place that they operate out of, and they have ATMs. Over 9,000 of them are deployed and active up until now, and they filed Chapter 11 after their recent exploit and hack, and now they're shutting down. They're closing up for business. Which is
they've got a lawsuit going from 2 states in the United States that are basically charging them, saying that they are facilitating these scams. And Crypto Bullcoin asked, so what was last week about? Well, this is one of the things we were discussing last week. There have been a lot of scams, particularly on seniors. As a matter of fact, there's a link in the description to the article I wrote following up on all of this stuff. So feel free to go ahead and check that out on my website. But basically, there have been state after state after state here in the United States trying to create legislation, and they're being led mostly by AARP, the American Association for Retired People. I think that's the correct name for that acronym, because a lot of these scams that are going on with these machines are targeting seniors, and they're definitely an at-risk demographic with regard to this. And here's the AI tie-in. And I talk about it extensively in the article that I just mentioned on my website. AI is like creating these deep fakes that are going and being used against these seniors. And they are just more and more effective with the help of AI. I'm pretty sure the figure was like 4.5% more effective than the standard that they were using that have AI involved in those scams. And then the reason that we definitely added this into last week was because hopefully Jar will talk about it here, that Canada was proposing a ban on these things for the same reason, because that supposedly this is happening. Do you any updates or anything else you want to add with regard to that, Jar?
I'm just pulling it up right now to see if anything changed. I don't believe there was a decision made on that right now, but I won't be surprised if they shut them down. Now, when we're talking about this, I actually have a question for you. Do you think it's the lawsuits that's forcing them to close operations, or was it the hack? Because the hack was quite substantial.
Well, that's a great question. I'm sure it was a combination of all of them, but I got to believe that, well, okay, I'd like to believe, that's probably the better way to put it, that they would have had some even self-insurance in place for something along a hack line. But you see it more as the combination of the lawsuits, because it's like anything else. You may be completely right, completely innocent, but how many times do we see people plead to something because they just can't fight the government? Well, now you got 2 state governments basically bleeding this company dry. You've got that issue going on. Plus, you have all of these states banning them. So now the number of ATMs is dropping. So fees are dropping. All this stuff is dropping. It's the perfect storm, in my opinion, leading to this bankruptcy. And again, to expanding to other areas, they're getting cut off at the knees before they can even get a foot in my opinion.
Yeah, it's definitely a perfect storm, unfortunately. When I checked out the status on the proposed ban in Canada, it's still a proposal. It hasn't changed right now. So I guess we'll see where that goes, and I'll update as I get more information on this one. Yeah, sad to see. Definitely sad to see.
It is sad to see. But Crypto Bullcoin said earlier, right? I highlighted the comments so I could come back to it, where he was talking about the whole KYC thing. Well, you got these paper wallets and maybe a KYC to get it, but what this to me is still a good well, it's not the best cold storage option. You guys know I prefer tangible hardware wallet, but if you're going to look to do something like off the complete grid completely, is an option that's getting taken away, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's just one more tool that's now been removed. This goes along with KYC and everything that's happening. I don't think it's like it's not a coincidence that the ATMs are disappearing at the same time that the walls are coming up and everything's getting more guarded when it comes to crypto. It's in preparation for something. I don't know what that preparation is for, but we definitely see a lot of things happening over here, one by one, brick by brick. It's definitely coming into place.
But whatever's coming ain't good. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, it ain't good.
It definitely feels like we're being primed for
oh
something.
God,
Right? Like we're talking about universal benefits, and we're talking about AI, and unemployment's through the roof, inflation's like out of control, debt is out of control. These things are just all funneling into one direction. Some people can put things together and figure that part out.
Yes, and Jar, listen, how many times we talk about these things and they seem like such disparate things. Like one has absolutely nothing to do with the other. But when you take all of those things and you funnel them together, you bring them and be like, huh. It makes you wonder. It makes you want to go grab your tin foil and put your hat on and be like, something is not right here.
At a certain point, you don't need that tinfoil anymore. It's just looking at, it's just looking at reality now, right? There's no denying it. It's in your face. They're pretty much flaunting a lot of the things that they're doing, and it's disgusting. At least in Canada, it's what Carney's doing is disgusting. At least the way he's just flaunting these new rules and regulations and talking about a direction. We didn't vote on a lot of the stuff that he's proposing and implementing. These new relationships and this new direction of Canada. I don't want to get too much into politics, but it's really frustrating to see that there really isn't a discussion. It's just things that are being passed and eventually will be enforced, like Bill C-22. This is like a complete grasp at our rights. And
which one was that? Because I think that was the one I wanted to ask you about. Which one was that?
This is more about the freedom of speech is being attacked with this one, and filtering what we can say and what we can't say. And
yes, that's
compliance. It's compliance as well. So we had talked about that on the last stream, and it's just, we're going down a tunnel. However, there is quite a few corporations that are speaking out against it, threatening to leave Canada if these are implemented. And the voices are getting strong. There's a petition that's out there. A lot of people are signing it. So I'm hoping it gets enough traction that we can actually get this thing shut down.
I hope so, brother, because we know, we've been on this planet long enough to know that once something's put out there, even though it's a temporary thing, very rarely does it ever end. It's never temporary. Look at Nixon, temporarily suspended gold conversion, U.S. dollar to gold conversion. Here we are on
how did that work out?
And here we are, how many years later, 5 decades later, about to collapse. Yeah.